Hey guys, Gargash here, and today is the follow-up video that I said I was going to do before, where I was going to show you how I made the pigment powders that I've been kind of toying around with. I haven't ground up the other ones yet, so I still need to do that, and going to have a big old kind of swatchathon at some point, but for today I'm just going to show you the process I usually go with. That seems to work pretty well for me. Today I'm going to be using some blackberries to see kind of what color they give. In theory, you would want to research and find out like what color you're looking to get and what natural materials you can use to kind of extract that. There's actually a really good channel called Color Quest on YouTube that they go into all sorts of different like dyes and natural dyeing materials. So you can I'm gonna leave a link to that down in the description below. And sorry if I sound a little different. Been kind of dealing with a cold or flu or something or another, but anyway, so let's kind of get into it. Just a basic run of things. You need the material you want to get your color from. Ideally, you'd want a funnel of some sort, some way to help you strain, some coffee filters to help you strain stuff, empty jar for straining into, to actually catch your liquid. You don't have to go out and buy something new. I'm just using a recycled, tomato sauce jar. Need some alum, which is pretty easy to get. I don't want to say it's going to be easy for everybody, but it's such a widely used metal salt that shouldn't be too hard to acquire. Ideally, you'd want distilled water. I didn't have any distilled water, and I didn't pick any up recently, but this should work just fine. Last thing you want to do is use water off your tap, just in case there's any extra minerals that cause the colors to change on you. And then the calcium carbonate, or the chalk, that I've been using to actually catch the color. Alright, so just one moment and I'll get it set up at the stove. Alright, so got the pan with some water and the berries on the stove. Important thing to note, you don't want to use an aluminum pan because the alum will react with it. At least that's what I've heard. And I would just rather people be safe than sorry. And I usually don't measure, because I'm not too worried about getting exact colors again and again and again just yet. So put some alum in there. Let's get this going. You want to mix everything all together as best you can. These berries are a little old, but hey, they're going to be tossed out anyway, so. Nice kind of vibrant pink color. It was very quickly turning purple. Yep. Well, that's a bad thing. Purples are nice. I've just had like a lot of berries apparently give you purple. It's already a nice dark rich color. Right, I'm gonna let that kind of sit and boil there for a bit, and we'll be right back. Alright, looks like it is boiling pretty nicely. The color looks pretty rich. See a nice bit of color there. So the next step would be to filter out the fruit stuff, like all the plant material and that. So you get your funnel, get your filter paper in there, either 1 or 2 filters to help get it out, and you want to catch all the juice down at the bottom. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do this one-handed, so I'm going to turn off the camera. I'm going to try and transfer that over there, and we'll see how that goes. I'll turn the camera back on as soon as it's good to go. Well, you know, I kind of called it. Even with 2 hands ready to help kind of, you know, situate things, I still made a mess, but hey. We've now strained out the color material from the plant stuff. Now I may strain this a second time just to be 100% on the safe side that there isn't any, you know, extra plant stuff in there. Because once again, I'm not really worried about getting like everything I can. I just kind of experimented, which is kind of the fun of, you know, making the pigments yourself. Alright, so I have strained it again in 2 separate containers here, because I want to see if I can get a different color by adding a little bit of the tap water. Because if you remember from last time, I said the water from our tap here has a little bit of iron in it, which is enough to kind of change the color. So let's see, it's out. I just need a little water from the tap. A little water from the tap. I think this one is less, so pour a little in. Alright. So the next step that I usually end up having to, or next step I do end up having to, is putting some of the chalk in there, and I kind of forgot to get a spoon. I did specifically buy a spoon for dishing that stuff out, just because you don't want to actually use your normal like kitchenware and all that. But yeah, give me one moment. Alright. And essentially how much you put in there is how much kind of colored powder you're going to get out of it. So I usually try and go for about 2 scoops, give or take, depending on how much color material I seem to have. You can see it's already forming a nice purple color. Alright, I'm trying to mix these up a little bit without splashing material everywhere. Nice vibrant purple color. About the same. It looks like the iron in one didn't really affect either, which is not a bad thing. So yeah, then the next step would be to let these dry out, and you'd want to see. I'm gonna try putting a little more alum into this one. So I've heard that the alum will, it kind of made it a little more pinky up there. Yeah, that's actually made quite a difference. Might be hard to see off the camera, but in real life this one looks a lot more pink now that I've added a bit more alum to it. Kind of a pink, like an actual purple, whereas this it's more like a violet. Not a major difference, but you know, I guess if you're wanting to get a specific color, that it would be important to know that it does that. Right, and then to kind of speed up the process, you can also filter it again, and then take the filter and let the material dry off it, or dry in it, which I might do for one of these. So filter. Since you seem the less reactive of the two, and I'm just going to give me another super dark purple again. I may have to filter that a couple times because it looks like it shifted as I poured, and I might be getting some of the chalk down in there as well. This still has some left in there, which is why it's sometimes good to keep some of the water. Yeah, to better filter it. Alright, let me get that all in there and I'll be right back with you guys. Alright, so this is filtering. It's going very slowly because the chalk is, at the bottom there. It's hard for it to filter through. And you can kind of see that it's kind of gray down here where there's still a little bit more chalk in the mixture, which means that after this filters through once, if I want to get all the chalk, I'm going to have to shimmy around the filter or use a new filter and refilter it to get all of the colored chalk, so to speak. And then you let it dry, and then you get some like the dry samples that I showed you before. This is the other method I like using. I was lucky enough that my mother was going to toss out this pan. I was like, I'll take it, because drying kind of kind of acts like a what they call a drying dish, where it gives a large surface area to let it kind of evaporate off the water sooner, and then you just let it sit out, and it'll slowly kind of evaporate off, and you'll be left with the colored pigment. You would normally have to scrape it off here, but I found that using the already finely ground chalk powder, it kind of lifts off of here pretty easily, so that's the way to do it. Granted, like I said, the chalk seems to affect some of the colors, like how they actually come out, so that'd be something to be wary of. And if like I said, if someone knows how to use clay, because I've heard you can use clay, please let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get to swatching the colors. I had a lot to do. I had a lot to do today to handle this whole cold flu-ish business going on. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.